Good evening and welcome to the KILI Storytelling Hour. And I would like to say good evening to all of you listeners out there. Some of you are going back from work. Some of you are sitting at home listening. Thank you for listening. And, my name is Brian Charging Cloud, and we're up here. My nephew is with me, and he will introduce himself. And, we come up here every Wednesday from 5 to 6 and share a story, sometimes a Ohunkaka story, and I always touch on the Lakota language. Let you got the Yamna Chawa na Kile Mahbia Tak Benich. We are going to go to Lakota ia Pikile Iwong Lakota. When I go out to National Omakhat Hecha Iwong Lakota. Omakhat Hecha is New Year. We'll talk about that a little bit. See what lies ahead for us. Have a real good evening, and keep your dial on 90.1 and 88.7 on Luzaha and KILIradio.org on the internet. Thank you for listening.
And Petuashte, Lakota Nation, Dennis Ghost, Imachi Apielo. I'd like to thank Brian Charging Cloud, and KILI Radio, and the Lakota Nation for allowing me to be up here and have my voice heard. I just got back from Michigan for my Christmas break, and I didn't really realize where I was headed coming back until I crossed into Rosebud, and then I started seeing more, the 65B license plates, and I knew I was home. And then I crossed Bateson, and I had a, sort of feeling come over me that this is home. I was happy to be back here. And see people that I have a like mind with. That we're sharing something, being Lakota, that nobody else gets a chance to take part in. I was at home, in the morning, Azeria, to say my prayers. That it's different doing it there than doing it here. There's something more spiritual about it, which I really appreciate, especially at school this morning. And I was happy to be back with the kids. That when we was there this morning, we had our prayers that something different being here. It's just more. Just happy to be here. Thank you for allowing me to be here for the storytelling hour.
Yeah, welcome back, and glad to have you home. And you said you were happy to see the children, the school. It is, we were gone for like 12 days.
Yeah.
And sometimes it gets really, what's a good, nice word to say? Sometimes we have to say Inila or Nagupta, but it's all part of the school.
Exactly. We say that. It doesn't matter if we say it today or we said it 2 months ago. But it's still the same thing. The kids react to you. Like you said, we were gone for 12 days, but the kids react to you the same.
Yeah.
That's what I really appreciate about the children at Chunkwayopi, is that, you wouldn't see those kids for 2 weeks, and they would still say hi and be the nice, friendly kids that they are.
And then when they see you somewhere like in Maniluzaha or Waziaha,
right.
Pine Ridge, they come up and shake your hand, and so it's good to be there and help them learn. And like today we had some really good thoughts, some good talk on our culture.
Yeah.
Prathanka, and I think we have a story here on Prathanka.
Yes.
So all you students, especially at all the schools, it's good to be back with all of you. We miss you, and just 12 days seems like a long time.
A very long time.
Some schools have, like I was up in Trakini, and they were gone since December 14th.
14th? Oh, for L&I. Yeah, we took off the 14th.
So we took off for L&I and stayed there.
They're still playing basketball up there.
I think Tom just came back. So that we're back on trying to get into sync now and get down to the everyday 8 to 4
right.
School. Work with the children, the classes, the lesson plans.
And that other thing was that I forgot to tell you about this today, was that the new administration's out there.
Yeah.
The new school boards. John Yelbert's deal. That I hope everything is going well.
Yeah.
Stop down at the school.
Yeah.
It wounded me. And I hope that goes for all the districts out there, that the new administrators, new council members.
Mm-hmm.
That and it's everything's new, so I hope everything's going well with them.
Okay. And before we get into that story, we have like I said, we always talk about like where we work. We really put the Lakota language on the top of our curricula.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we always want to touch on it, and we always want to there's a word called which one is it anyway? I have a word. I think that word was in here, the one that I wanted to say, and that's ikjapta. Ikjapta means like ikjapta kichu. Yeah, that means that you always dwell on what happened 100 years ago or 50 years ago, and you keep saying that, well, we're like this because of this, because
yes,
Dennis didn't do this,
yep,
or someone didn't do this. So I don't want to sit up here and ikjapta kichu.
Right. That was interesting that you said that on the way up here, and it's referring to this, the Tatanka story. Instead of playing a blame game.
Yeah.
And you said that on the way here. That kind of surprised me in a way. When I was at home, back in Michigan, mm-hmm, I have more people here, family. I mean, my tioshbai, that will do anything for me here. Yeah. And I seen the difference when I was home.
Yeah.
I don't want to offend anybody or anything like that, but that's where I come from is the white world. It's the English-speaking world. There's no Lakota out there, mm-hmm, and I could see the difference. Mm-hmm. I could honestly see the difference that when I wanted to relay something that I'd learned here, whether it be a rite or anything that I'd read in the book or a story or anything that they didn't really. Yeah, it was just a story, Mm-hmm. I had more people wanting to talk to me about the Bible, religion and stuff like that, rather than what I had to say, what was going on out here. Mm-hmm. And that's just certain people. That's not everybody out there. But what I notice here is that people will do a lot for you. And that goes back to the 3 W's that you were talking about.
There's one little, this is not part of the story, but this one here touches on the, not only the language, but working together, like Okichapi. Okichapi is working together to strengthen, like not only the Lakota language, but also like maybe the Tiwahe family, maybe the Tioshpai, the people like Manus and Porcupine, and also encourage the younger generation. Yeah, and that's like here I have strengthen the Lakota language, but it also means to strengthen everybody.
Tiwahe, Tioshpai, and
then it says encourage new speakers, but that also means that we need to encourage each other to have a good life, having like a Lakota way, not only the Lakota way, but having a good, healthy life.
You know, and that was the thing too, that to encourage new speakers. That just doesn't go for children. Yeah. That's everybody. Yeah. That should be us. You know, and I'm still in the process. You know, Peter Hill. That's awesome. You know, that not really an outsider. He's an insider now, but was an outsider at one time. To me, that's awesome. Personally, I look up to him. You know, somebody that dedicates time, a lot of effort, perseverance. You know, we'll go right back to that word.
Yeah. On Wednesdays, that word is one of the perseverance and commitment. Those two are the what do you want to call that?
That could even be one of our
foundation,
one of our virtues as a people.
So, Toshka Peter, if you're listening, you did a pretty awesome job.
Yeah, that most definitely.
Yeah, and if you can do it, then all these children can do it. All these Lakota students,
right.
All the students,
adults,
it can be done.
Yes, it can.
Okay, then it says helping creates confidence and motivation. So when we help them, they get that confidence, and we motivate them. And sharing gives confidence too. You see what others are doing, and you might be doing the same thing, or you might be doing a role model.
Right.
And working together, okay, that's like a team player. It broadens your teaching methods, or it broadens your methodology, and you become stronger.
Your knowledge.
Yeah.
I mean,
so that's really important. And that team player, like we were just talking to Tom out here. Tom's like basketball. He likes to watch
basketball guru.
When those players play, they have that. They all play together, and they get really strong. And one of our teams is very strong now on this reservation. Not all of them are pretty strong, but I think they're really pretty high up.
Yep.
Okichiapishni, that means not working together. Okay, when you do that, then you become stagnant. What does that mean? Stagnant. You become like a lax, or you become you do the same thing over and over, and you won't get anywhere.
That's kind of like the old pond.
Yeah.
With the crud growing on top. There's nothing happening. There's no motion.
Okay, and because another one is because we are territorial, we become not working together, and we're not working as a team. Okay, now Peter and I presented one time at Summit, maybe 2 years ago, and we mentioned these, or I mentioned these 3 W's. Okay, And the 3 W's are Wonawizi, that's jealousy. Wonawizi. Okay, and the other one was Wokipaji, that's like you rebel. Like you have a team and then you rebel on one.
You do your own thing.
Members, yeah. And the other one is Waichi Chacha. That means you make fun of other people.
Yes.
So those are really bad W's. Okay. And then there's some in here too. That means oh, he can't do it, or
yes.
I don't think he can do it, or you don't have no confidence.
No confidence.
That's another one. No confidence. Okay. And so we become, we create obstacles too. For example, how to teach, what to teach, or we become scattered. I think that word is abikya. So we're all doing one all over the place, like a tree, a lot of branches. So just want to share these. They're good and they're bad, but we always want to share the good and the bad. So that's just a little thing that I pulled out of the notes that I have, and I think we went over this twice now. 2 years ago we did this thing. Okay, now before we get into the storytelling, I want to thank the KILI Radio for this storytelling hour. I thank Tosha Hurt for helping us up here. Of course, Tom is next door and he's helping. And now we're into a new year now. And I think everybody's back to work. Some of them are just now coming back, coming in. Students are all back. They're all back. In fact, we have some new students.
Yeah.
So that's a real good sign. Chato na nakapang kami na takukul yuna yunka ohinia le Lakota ya pikileja otonski wongrat. Lehan le oil kile niha le Lakota ya pikile lila Wakapia, the Lakota language on the way up there with the other subjects like math and reading. So that's good for this Lakota language. Okay, now we have a story here. It's called Buffalo Brothers. So maybe Toshka Dennis I'll read it, and then I'll do it in Lakota, and then we'll kind of talk about it. We heard some in one of the classes today. The Buffalo Nation was mentioned about maybe the population of the Buffalo Nation is going down or
dwindling. I'd really like to know.
Is it?
I don't know.
Because this is in the news somewhere. Maybe it's Rapid City Journal, but one of the teachers mentioned that, and we had a little discussion on it. And maybe, and because of that, the buffalo meat is really rising.
Expensive.
Yeah. So there's maybe, I don't know, something to think about.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, with the TV and the news, the newspapers, especially Rapid City, I'd really like to find out firsthand.
Yeah.
On that. I'm not saying it's a figment of somebody's imagination, but I'd really like to find out firsthand, numbers-wise.
Yeah.
Here, Rosebud, wherever there's populations at, I'd really like to know.
Well, at one time, all the tribes, whether like Shan River, the the Changu, the Oglala, the Babha, that's them. They all have Tatranka, they all have buffalo herds.
Yes.
I don't know how many. Some of them used to have 200. I think used to have 200 on the Cheyenne River Reservation. But today, I don't know. Maybe they don't have any.
Yeah.
See, that's so. Unless we hear it from the people that know, then
right,
it'd be good to pass it on. So this story is called the Buffalo Brothers, and the source of this story is none other than. Wait a minute! I thought this was from Marshall, but this is from. He's another really good storyteller.
Yes.
Luther Standing Bear.
Yeah,
that's a good one. So this will be a really good story.
Okay. Buffalo Brothers. At one time, great fields of the golden sunflower grew on the plains of the Lakota country. Both the Lakota and the buffalo loved this beautiful flower. Its leaves were so bright and green, and the yellow petals were more lovely and delicate than gold. Many little yellow birds, so many they could not be counted, hovered over the fields of sunflowers. They loved the sunflower too, and their feathers were almost as yellow as the petals arranged so neatly around the centers of brown. The birds picked at these brown seeds and talked a lot while they were about it. No wonder, then, that we boys like to lie around on pleasant days in these fields and take in all the sights and sounds. Everything interested us. The buffalo like to wallow their big heads in the sunflowers, and many times we saw them with long stems wound about the left horn, for they never wore them on the right horn. Perhaps they did this to decorate themselves, or maybe they liked the smell of the flowers. We only knew that they liked the sunflower. Of course, we always did not try to get very close to the buffalo, but we sat on our ponies at a distance and watched them. In the summer, if the flies were bad, the buffalo raised the dust with their horns, and the dust clouds would hide them from us for a while. Sometimes we saw them play. Sometimes we saw them swim in a lake with only their big black heads above the water. From a distance, it looked like a single moving black body on the surface of the water. One day a great hunt took place. The Lakota men killed many buffalo and brought home many hides. The next day some of the boys rode out on the prairie. No buffalo were in sight. Everything was quiet except the birds in the sunflower fields. I rode alone up a little hill, and looking over saw two buffalo. I was surprised, for I thought they had all been killed or had been frightened away. I sat on my pony and watched. One buffalo was on the ground, his feet under him. The other was nosing and pushing the fallen one about with his head and horns. I was curious and watched for several moments before I realized that the buffalo on the ground was either ill or wounded. The day before, no doubt, he had been wounded, but had been able to escape the hunters. At this spot, he had lain down weak from the loss of blood. With the grunted urges of the helpful buffalo, the wounded one would try to rise. Each time he tried, he got up on his 4 feet, but each time sank back again. However, this seemed to be satisfactory, for the friendly buffalo moved on. The next day, my curiosity brought me back to the place, but I came alone. The wounded buffalo still sat on the ground. After I had waited for an hour or so, I saw the other buffalo coming. When he got to the wounded one, there was a greeting with horns and head. The well buffalo encouraged the sick one with rubbing and poking and pushing him with his head. The poor fellow rose to his feet and stood for a moment, but sank back to the ground again. The second time he got to his feet, he walked for a few steps and again lay down. But he was in a clean place, and there was some green grass close by. In a little while, the visiting buffalo went back to his herd somewhere in the distance and out of sight. I could not now help going back to see what was to happen. So the next day I was looking on again. The unfailing friend came as before, and a stricken buffalo must have revived considerably. For after some coaxing, he arose on weakened legs, but followed his friend away at a slow but steady pace. I saw them disappear, and I went home feeling that I had been made better by this lesson in kindness.
Okay, Lakota, le tathanka le voya kecha le tathanka le ne hani le mahoche ki le na uyapi ne hani lila ota pikap le na tathanka ke ha le mahoche ki le oglala mahoche le kon le ta waziata ke hani lila ota pikap لنا لوخشاك لنا بلا تشكر وخشا أوتاك لنا واشتلاك أنا نكون زيت كلا يا إن أوكيا تليلا تا يهاني لنا أوكي وطبعا ل نتخطخنك لنا نكون ل وطبعا نلوامبي ونعيش نكون ل makhayu blue na makhop ash skam lena toki le manas in takuku aicha poi hata hechu lena isha hecha se onke na dila in oan waste khos wain chanka hata fotos na wain chanka hata dila oan waste na hoch yotas awan wa chaka tokes keskelena ufichi na يعني ياكو أنس نلا لقطة كلنا لقطة ياكو أن خدخنكا كلنا لإسأل لهن وكشانجا لأوانش ملكا كله بيتشل إسأل أوانش ملكا إيه خدخنكا كي لتشجالر لنا يتخكاهيش نقول بتشكي كاب ولنا تاون في خماتون إهاني ل ويا كيلل Lakota ke hani wanase ibina dila khathanka ke ota vicharte na le hani chit khathanka haklena tikara na is na to na ha tikara dila ota vicharte we khan watohan le shila Ukshila ya tokia lena amang wichakwa. Alcha hekta kia le tathanka ya wichakte bhecha ina ha okshang shetwa tonkha numo enchanka tathanka numla. Napi umakuch baina ha umais maslana na ha watohans na puteons na toki panini nes epatcha toki fiktakin tikhcha. Horas onganas le muziek goed gespaard le toki onas tchaupin etc. Is na waza kuje etc. Echimpi toki he tchaupi. Want zala umslaat le na wang gespaard hona ha is ele in muzihel in wasladna zikle toki bahainam hecha ot api khatkhanka hechet ka kile. Olen klaat lena kiuna ki ikta le akek ta kesh awan yapchim tek ta kawan ipon khan le muzik khan ka wan muzik khus pai na wan ki le isha ake elhi kon is ake kikta kin tacht yuk kha watohan wana to ki apetu itia menel hekta ke akele mat khatkhan ka tilehi na ham pute on inajenkia toki wato waya han wana makile toki washan hinglan chi cha kiktana chi ihaka mani hiya ko cha ta le hokshila ya le khatkhan ka ya Lilus wo wan kompi oki chap nice na koi haki chita Hani lana hechikche doki khathanka ki umpi. Onalachi hani pte oyate echake. Hani vich oyake kilele pte oyate kileta kupish kyapi. Ohe shemie helping here quite like that. Le oyake kile khathanka kilena le ihaki chiktapi. Ihaki means they don't leave anybody behind. Even when he was wounded and he can't get up, he went back to help. So when these stories are told a long time ago to our children, there's always a lesson in there. And this story, the lesson that maybe you saw one too. Did you see one? This story. The one that I get out of here is that how they help each other.
Yes.
And as a maybe you can put in that word Tioshpai or the Tiwahe, the Buffalo Nation or the Buffalo Oyate.
Yes.
They live like that.
Yep.
And there's a story that the Oyate, that's where we come from. So what I get from here is that for us today, we still help each other, and we still don't leave anybody behind. We make sure that nobody is hungry, and we always help the people that are weak.
Right.
This one was wounded, but maybe you can say that sometimes we are wounded. Sometimes, you shared a story on the way back. You can use that word wounded because your car was wounded.
Car was wounded, yeah.
But you still
found help, and I made it home out of the kindness of somebody that I'd never met. And it just so happened, it was Washichu with the Lakota wife, Lakota children. It's just I just got lucky, but that was the thing that you made a lot of points there that I've written down. Don't leave a fallen brother behind.
Yeah.
That also goes back to the military.
Yeah.
And I know celebrating Veterans Day here, how big that is.
Yeah.
There's people that and we come from the Lakota come from the Kichita, that they never let somebody was physically wounded or emotionally wounded or whatever, that they pick them up. You said Waichi ha. This is don't make fun of others.
Yeah.
He could honestly just looked at him, and he was down. And what happens a lot outside of this place is that people like to kick others when they're down.
Yeah.
But and that was the thing. He encouraged him. He refused to let him die.
Yeah, he came back 3 times.
Yeah, refused. Absolutely refused. Then it goes on to perseverance. We'll say that again. He was committed to his brother.
Yeah.
Committed to his TYA, committed to his Tioshpai, that he would not let one brother down. By him coming back 3 times, he gave him confidence that hey, I still do care about you. You have to get up and we have to go. So there were so many things, and you said this the last time we were here with Ron.
Yeah, Ron.
You made a quote from Jimmy Valvano, that basketball coach from North Carolina State University, when he was in the process of passing away from cancer.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Yep.
That and I wanted to mention it to you before, instilling confidence in others, and that you know, the one brother, he was down. His brother came back and showed him kindness.
Yeah.
You know, showed him compassion. You know, what we're supposed to do anyway. Show compassion. You know, and it was always that thing, pay it forward. You know, that, so, you know, and let everything, you know, be in a circle as it should be. So, yeah, you can get a lot from that. You know, I'm sure the kids would, you know, I might take this, you know, back to the school tomorrow, and what I found ironic is that, you know, at the beginning of the story, you know, they painted this picture of, like Eden, you know, this perfect sunflowers and birds chirping and the sunshine, and but there lay a wounded animal. Yeah. You know, out of all this beautiful glory, one wounded animal. You know, and then the story just turns from there.
That's a good story.
That's a very good story.
From Luther. Was it Luther Standing?
Luther Standing.
Yeah. That's really good. So, again, on the Lakota language, don't ever give up.
Give up, right.
And then I see that we have, I would like to say, maybe Arlo's listening. He comes up here in the mornings and he does the Wakalapi show.
Mm-hmm.
And he's using a lot of Lakota language now.
Okay.
And he's learning. And that's really good. That really, so, and then you too, like, everybody. So we just don't give up, just keep going in, and then you're going to keep adding words.
Exactly.
And then pretty soon you'll connect these words together.
You know, not on a negative note, but I was sort of reading that Carlisle, you know, when they talk about the Carlisle Indian School, and about Jim Thorpe. You know, I'm like in the first probably 50 pages of that book, but you know, I've read it in other, like, first-hand accounts, second-hand accounts maybe, where, you know, Lakota people were sent to boarding schools. Their hair's gone, the language is gone, you know, and that was the thing that at Carlisle there was like an underground network. You know, in secret spots, they would actually get together and hold discussions. You know, say in Lakota, in Chippewa, or, you know, wherever, Cheyenne. And I thought, because I just thought that, you know, when I went to these boarding schools, that everything was all gone. But they brought up that point that there was pockets of not resistance, but yeah, I guess you could say that
they still speak
because that language. And you said it before, is that, you know, when you gain another language, you gain another soul. And I've heard you said that a couple times, that, you know, they were forced to learn the English language, you know, forced. I'm learning the Lakota language because it's part of me.
Yeah.
You know, I wish Lakota was my first language, but, you know, I have to make it so. But I thought that book was interesting, that, during that time was that Pop Warner, the legendary football coach or whatever, that he said the greatest athletes on earth are natives. You know, he even said that. That the Carlisle Indian School played like Army. You know, you're talking, they had future presidents and generals and all these great people that were supposed to do all these great things, but they could not be. You know, the Carlisle Indian School, I thought that was just absolutely amazing. That, and that was the thing, was that Dwight D. Eisenhower said that. The greatest football player he'd ever seen, or greatest athlete that ever was Jim Thorpe. Absolutely amazing. And on one more note was that, you remember Hoss Johnson? He should be listening out there. And I really wanted to tell him thanks, and he gives me a lot of encouragement. for being here, for learning, continuing to learn. And he said he was going to be listening tonight. I just wanted to tell him hi, and I miss him and his wife. And eventually I'll see him pretty soon. So, but that and you've met Hoss, big giant of a guy, but just a heart, just a heart made of nothing but caring. And he really does. He really is concerned about what is going on here, and that's and here's a guy from Crystal Lake, Illinois, that he really does care, and it's not something that it lays on his conscience or whatever. He cares from his heart. So I really want to tell him hello and thank you out there. And Delmer is saying hi, and Brian saying hi too. So.
I want to say hello to Hoss. If you're listening, have a good evening, and we will see you down the road again somewhere.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. And also, before I forget, we have on the internet, we have a lot of listeners out there.
Yes.
And, there's some people listening, and I think it's Omaha Nation.
Yes.
And if you're listening, thank you.
And Richard, pray for him in his travels. Him and Marissa going down south. So there's a lot of good stuff. Remember they're going down there to do bigger and better things. So.
And there's a lot of listeners here on this the Pine Ridge Oglala Nation.
Yes.
And we have listeners that all the way from Oglala across to to Rushville, Gordon, and Minnelusa, Rapid City. We have a lot of listeners.
Yes.
And Rosebud. So everybody have a good evening, and have a very Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. How is that in Lakota? Omakatrecha.
And if any of you know, this story on the bison herd or the buffalo herd.
I'd like to find out some numbers on that.
It's interesting, and there's a lot of right now we're I think after that Lakota LNI usually every year the teams that place first or second at LNI, they go on and do very well in the state tournament.
In the state tournament.
Yep. So the state tournament's coming up in March in Rapid City. So we might see one of these teams over there.
That'd be really nice.
Yep, that's going to be really nice. So work together and
no 3 W's.
No 3 W's. Have a really good year, and we really have some good I know all the schools are doing this, but today I see a lot of good we have Tony, and we have I don't know Tanya's husband's name, but they're doing a really good job. Those 2 guys are doing sponsors.
That's
pretty good. Yeah.
That's a very good point.
They have that in schools all over. They do that. They do have that.
And that was the thing that Tony, Black Bear, Floyd.
Yeah.
That's the thing is that I was talking to some friends at home that they might not get the glory and everything of teaching the students, but the support staff, sometimes after hours and even during the day, they play a huge role.
Yeah.
Especially, the two guys that are working at the school now in the hallways. That is,
those all are really the
backbone of right. From the ladies in the office to those two guys that work in our hallways now.
I think all the schools will be like that. All the schools sometimes they forget those. Those are all the what do you call it? A car or like something that runs.
Yeah, exactly.
They probably make that whole thing
run. We'd have trash piled up to the ceiling without
the bus drivers.
The bus drivers.
Right now, there's probably buses on the road.
On the road right now.
We are speaking.
Yeah.
So they don't get home till like 7, 8.
Exactly, and that's every night.
That's a big responsibility when you carry that many students on a car and you're driving. I wouldn't want to do. Would you like to drive a bus full of
screaming kids? No way.
That's responsibility.
Right. Oh, that's an awesome responsibility.
To get them safely.
Because without the kids getting to school, we wouldn't have a job. So
that's the safety part of it.
Right.
That's really important.
Right.
And also the transit system that runs on this reservation.
Yeah.
You see them. They do a really good job.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of things that are doing that make things run. Like the casino buses. You see them on the road.
They provide a lot of jobs. I see them here in Urukbe all the time. That's how they get to work. So. But once again, I'd like to thank KILI for allowing me to be up here.
So I want to say thanks to the KILI Radio and thank you and have a real good evening and have a good show.